Hey there, welcome to my channel. My name is Dayana and I'm an operations and growth strategist. So I help small business owners and entrepreneurs to be able to scale their businesses by increasing their revenue as well as building high performing teams. So let's go ahead and get into it. Today, we're going to be talking about how to build a business that does not rely on you. And when I say that it doesn't rely on you, I mean rely on you as the founder, as the owner, as the entrepreneur. The reason being is it's not because you're a bad person. It's not because you don't have the competency to lead the team and to continue to have the team to rely on you. The reason I'm saying this is because it does not need to rely on you. In order for your business to be scalable, it needs to be able to not rely on you. It needs to be able to function without you, because that is what is going to get the revenue and get the business to that next level. You never want to hold your business back by it being your fault. You obviously want the business to be as successful as possible. That's the reason that you started the business. So make sure that you let it just thrive and go on. So as far as with the top thing that I've seen is founders are bottlenecks. It's not because, like I said, you're a bad person. It's not that. It is because you are so passionate about whatever it is that you created, about your business, and you don't want to see anything happen to it. You feel like that you are the only person that can do things and no one else can do them as good as you. And you're right. No one else can do the things that you do for your business like you can. They might be able to do it better. And I know that's a tough pill to swallow, but it's honestly the truth, because their emotions aren't as tied up as yours might be. So the way that we become bottlenecks within our own organizations is because we want things done a certain way, and we feel like as the entrepreneur that things cannot be done in a better manner. That is not true, and that is not an efficient business to run, because you want things to be optimized and you want things to be ever evolving. Yes, your business might have its core offer, it might have its core values, core responsibilities, things of that nature for each role, but overall you want the business to be able to grow and evolve, and that is just going to be a part of the daily cycle. So let me tell you about a story, a quick one. I worked for a company, I was the director, and I was going to go on a vacation, and it was not even, it wasn't even 2 to 3 hours since I left the office. And my now fiance, we were on our way out of town, hadn't even left yet. And my phone started getting blown up. It was like 2 or 3 different people that were giving me calls. And I was like, okay, what's going on? Something has to be wrong. And so I answered, and come to find out, there was 9 people in one person's office trying to make a decision. That is the biggest bottleneck I have seen. And I'm sure there's larger ones, but for me, that did not go well for me, because I was like, okay, the fact that my team does not feel empowered enough to make those decisions without me, with there being another director in the room, but my department was like, no, we cannot make this decision without Dayana. And while I appreciated that type of respect, that was so inefficient, and that was me, a reflection of me being a poor leader at that time, because my team did not feel empowered to make that decision without me. It did not need me to make that decision, and they knew that I had very high standards, and those standards can still be met with them, because they know the things that I accept, they know the things that I think are acceptable for the level of work that we were going to be producing for our clients. But it should not have taken 9 people to be in a room and then for me to have to be the say-so. That was just uncalled for. And so I say all that to say, make sure you're not that person having 9 people in a room. I want you to be able to go on your private island. I want you to be able to go on your yacht, or on your private jet, or just go somewhere to the Bali or the Maldives and sip a pina colada or a margarita on the beach, and not have to be worried about everything just crumbling and falling apart because you're not there. That is one of the most important things, is putting the tools and automation in place to build out an effective infrastructure. So when I say that, I mean putting leaders in place to be able to limit the amount of interactions that you have with people on a daily basis. That's not in a bad way. That does not mean that you don't need to know their names. That does not mean that you don't need to go speak with them. It means you don't have to check in with 15 different people on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. You probably only need 3 people, especially if you have a 15-person team. You don't need that many direct reports. So they often say anywhere from 5 to 7 is a healthy number. Anything over 7 direct reports is inefficient, because at that point you probably should have another leader in place to be able to break that down a little bit more. And so that's why I would have someone that was over marketing, over sales, and maybe over customer service. And those would be my main 3 direct reports to start out with, because they should be able to report on their own departments without me having to go through and look at every little thing. One of the systems that I would put in place is having a dashboard. So that dashboard might be updated daily, it might be updated weekly with KPIs, so key performance indicators that I want to know how the health is going for my business. It might be, what is our sales conversion? What is our current revenue year to date? It might be, how many registrants do we have for something, or how many products and units sold do we have for year to date, this quarter, and daily. So all of those things can be broken down for you to as macro or as micro of a level as you would want. You just have to be intentional with letting your team know the important KPIs that you want to see on a daily basis and that are important to you ultimately. In addition to that, limit your meetings. I cannot emphasize how many times I've been in a meeting where that meeting ended up leading to like 4 other meetings. So we used to have a running joke that we had meetings about meetings, and that could not have been closer to the truth. And it's funny, but it was also sad, because at one point I looked at my calendar one week and I had 32 hours worth of meetings. I was working tooth and nail to try to get through all of the things, and that's not practical to have 32 hours worth of meetings in a 40-hour work week, because normally from those meetings you're going to have action items that need to be taken care of, and 8 hours is not nearly enough time to take care of all of the action items from 32 hours worth of meetings. So, and it sounds crazy for me to even say now, but that's what I mean by limiting things. And using a project management software, put that in place so that way your team leads can lead their teams efficiently and effectively, and then all of that data could lead to your dashboard. There's ways of automating it to where you just have a bird's eye view from a 50,000 foot view versus having to look in every single project, every single timeline that they have. And then last but certainly not least is to delegate effectively and document SOPs. I know that I have talked about documenting standard operating procedures so many times, and I will be making a video exactly on how to do that. I even have a template that I'll share with you, but I'll do that in a different video. But documenting your things early on in the process is going to be so beneficial for you scaling and for you not having to be within the business. It takes a little bit of time, but use ChatGPT. It's okay. You can use ChatGPT to give you your framework and give you your outline, and then you can go back in and fill things in for exactly what is more specific to you and your systems that you want to have in place. But at least it's easier for you to start off with a template instead of going from scratch. Sometimes that's just more difficult for people. Everyone works differently, so you have to figure out what works best for you. And I know it sounds daunting to just say, oh my gosh, let me go document this process and have to think of every little thing. If it's something like uploading, uploading your cover photo on YouTube, ChatGPT it. It's going to be the same process. Overall, you might just have to input which folder from which Gmail account they need to get the cover photo for. But you can simplify things as much as you possibly can through using AI. And then with delegating effectively, when you delegate, try your best not to micromanage. Micromanaging does not do anything for you, and it definitely does not do anything for the team member. It actually makes the team member feel devalued and feels like that they're walking on eggshells. So give them the autonomy to be able to carry out the tasks that you've given them. You wouldn't have hired them, or you shouldn't have hired them, if they were not going to be a good fit and were not competent enough to carry out whatever project you're asking them to do. And so when you delegate, tell them, hey, this is the overall objective that I want us to do. This is where I want us to get to. This is our timeline. You might have 2 months. We're going to do weekly check-ins, or we're going to do how many ever check-ins you want. I want a weekly update via email every Friday. Give them those touch points and let them know what is the expectation. So set the expectations from the get-go and then let them run with it. The worst thing that you can do to someone who is trying their best to build up their self-confidence and to show that they are competent in a role is by micromanaging. So make sure that you are not micromanaging them. Let them just carry it out, do their thing, do the regular check-ins with them, and you will be golden. And that will set your business up for success, for the business to not have to rely on you, and for it to ultimately be scalable, which is what we all want. So if you felt like this was helpful, please feel free to like and subscribe to my channel, as well as comment with any questions that you might have. I love answering questions. I'll even make a video answering your specific question and going into detail on it. And then any feedback that you have, please comment it below. I love comments, like I said. And I hope that you all enjoyed it. So thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.